Hey guys, welcome to Recipes Tested. I'm Brianna Robinson, and today for Recipes Testober, I'm going to be making Laura in the Kitchen's pumpkin spice meringues. If you don't know, meringues are just little tiny cookies made with egg whites and sugar, and they're crisp and they're crunchy and they're delicious. I will leave a link where you can find the recipe with all the ingredients and amounts and all those goodies down in the description below. And you know what? I haven't made them since last fall, and I thought to myself, why not make these for Recipes Testober? They look great, they look super easy. So I'm just gonna go over the process throughout the video and give you any tips and tricks that I learned along the way from making the recipe. And then at the end of the video, I will give a review and let you know if it's love at first bite. So if you wanna see how this recipe turns out, just keep watching and I'll get testing. So for these meringues, I got my room temperature egg whites in a clean bowl and started mixing them with my electric mixer until they got pretty nice and frothy. Not too far before I added in the salt and the cream of tartar to help stabilize them before I really kind of stood there and let the mixer do most of the work.
There you go. Nice and easy. Easy. Smaller stirs. There you go.
What were you going to say, baby?
Stir. A little tiny bit.
And since my little sous chef went and mixed my sugar and pumpkin pie spice together, I just added that a little bit at a time into my meringue mixture, really until I couldn't feel the sugar granules anymore. But this took quite a bit, and I needed one hand on the whisk and one hand adding in the sugar, so I ringed up a little kitchen towel to help hold that into place so that I could use two hands and, you know, kind of get it all mixed together. So that's a little hack for you in case you needed one. But once that was all done, I went and got a disposable piping bag with a little tip on it and put it into the biggest cup that I had and just put all of my mixture into the cup. Don't overfill it because you will have a huge mess. And then I lined 2 baking sheets with parchment paper and see, look at all that mess. And then I just piped them on to the parchment paper, and they don't spread, so load them up. Put as much on there as your heart desires. And then I put some sprinkles on. And the longest part about this recipe is you gotta bake them at a really low temperature. So I baked them. I had 2 sheets, so about halfway through I switched them from the lower third and the top third. And then I baked them according to the instructions and then let them cool overnight in the oven. And yeah, this is what they look like the next morning when they're all done. All right, guys, so like I said, these sat in the oven overnight. They're very hard and crunchy and crispy. My mouth is salivating, so I'm gonna give it a taste and let you know if it's love at first bite. You hear it? Sounds like styrofoam. Huh. I have such a love-hate relationship with these cookies because putting my teeth on them, it feels like I'm like biting styrofoam. But once they're in my mouth and they start doing their thing where they're all melty away, all is well, all is forgiven, and I want to eat like the whole plate. They're so good. They're so crunchy and melty, and they're not very sweet, which I love. I don't like super sweet cookies. And I love that the pumpkin spice in here is just a really warmth kind of, you know, going through the cookie. It's not like hit you on the head, here's your pumpkin spice. I think that these are definitely a cookie, meringues in general, to keep in mind when you have leftover egg whites. I have several recipes where I always use just egg yolks and not egg whites, like my dinner rolls, the pumpkin pie that I just made, and I hardly ever use them. Like I either make a pavlova or I make meringues, and these are just delicious. I love everything about them except the like 0.2 seconds where I'm putting it in my mouth and it makes me cringe. I rate these a 10 out of 10. They're easy. They take a long time, but they kind of look like, they're one of those cookies that I feel like look like you put way more effort into them than you really did. Unless you're like whisking these by hand, which I don't recommend because you're gonna look like Johnny Bravo or like Popeye. But they're pretty easy. They're really delicious, and I think you guys should give them a go. But if you're a meringue lover like me, leave a comment down below and let me know what's your favorite meringue. And don't forget to subscribe while you're here for Recipes Testober. Give me a thumbs up if you like this, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. I'm gonna try to catch this. Oh.